Hello, everybody. My third try at getting this right. Thanks for coming to another episode of Writers Drinking Whiskey. I'm your host, William R. Hincy, and joining me today is Mathieu Cailler. Matthew, welcome to the bar. So honored and thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah. And for our audience, so Matthew, and I'm not going to cover everything, and you can jump in and add anything you like here, but I know you're the author of Los Angeles, which is a brilliant collection of short stories. You have poetry, May Have This Dance, and then the novel, which I happen to have a copy here. I still need to make into the reading list, but Heaven and Other Zip Codes. Um, did I miss anything? Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, let's see. I have another collection of poetry, the one I'll actually be reading from today.
Okay.
Catacombs of the Heart. Oh, it's kind of weird with this
Oh,
visual.
yeah,
There we go.
it turned
Catacombs of
into
the Heart.
space.
It's like I'm from a different dimension.
Yeah.
Um, and a couple kids' books, The Underappreciated Life of Humphrey Holly, and a younger reader called High on Night, kind of a legend myth about the beauty of the night, kind of a story about how kids shouldn't be afraid of the dark. So
Oh, beautiful.
yeah,
That's beautiful. And then you have the perfect background for that right now too.
totally. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like doing a reading for my first kids book and we kind of got to discussing problems, like things that kids were going through, and a lot of them mentioned, being afraid of the dark, which made
Hmm.
sense and something that's
Sure.
it kind of stays around forever, that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what would be kind of a soothing thing to read to a child? And I kind of, you know, came upon that idea and kind of went with it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything
Oh,
else non writing related you'd
um,
like to share?
well, let's see. I mean, I love basketball. That's what I like, and I love sports. I was telling my wife the other day that like maybe it's because I spend a lot of time writing, but I
Hmm.
feel like when I kick back and relax, I don't want to watch something with a narrative.
That I do that all the time.
Do
I like
you? Yeah.
so I'm a crazy, you can see the Steeler sign
Yeah.
back
Yeah, I
here.
saw that.
Crazy Steeler fan. I grew up in the Los Angeles area with Magic Johnson and Kareem
Yep.
and stuff, Showtime in their prime. So crazy Laker fan. And it was like I was
Yes. Same.
turning those things, yeah, at all times. I'm like, oh, this is what I'll sit and watch. All the other
Yeah.
stuff, I'm like, can't do
I
this.
know. I feel like a sadness come over me when seasons are over. And I'm like, oh,
I, I know
and then
it's
everyone
crushing.
starts with like, have you seen season 12 of Pothole? And I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten to Pot. It's like there's so many shows now on the like
Yeah,
ZB network, and you're like, oh, I don't think I have ZB. Oh, it's free. You should
right.
download it. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Do you have
I'm
this
still,
streaming network?
yeah. It's like I'm still watching Seinfeld. Let me oh,
Right. I mean, I'm still on Cheers, so you're a little
yeah,
after me at least.
yeah. I
I'm
know
like,
it's
I'm still
horrible.
wondering if Sam and Diane are gonna make it.
No,
That's what,
it's true. I've just decided there's going to be like entire huge artistic things I will not see in my life, and I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
At this
yeah,
point, you're like, it's
exactly.
all right. Yeah.
Bless you. So, what are we drinking today?
So today I'm going to make it's a little dull on the surface, but I think it
Yeah.
might be fun for some of your listeners here to try it out. I came across, we're talking Laker fan, and I
Mm-hmm.
went to a bar once and they had this beautiful gin. Let's see, this is kind of tricky, isn't it?
It
Can you
is.
kind of see this bottle? If I put it in
Oh,
front of
there
me,
it
there,
is.
there we
You know
go.
what? If
All
you
right.
hold it right in front of you, it works.
Yep,
Oh, now
there
I
we
do
go.
this.
Oh, there we go, kind of.
Yeah,
It's this
Empress.
beautiful color. Yeah, Empress gin. It's like from a hotel in Canada, and they put what's it called? Pea blossom in it. And the pea
Okay,
blossom gives it zero like flavor, but it adds this gorgeous natural purple color, and it
right.
makes maybe the most beautiful gin and tonic you'll ever see. So I like
Sure.
to make this when people come over because I like a gin and tonic. Most people do. It's two ingredients, maybe a spritz of lime in there or lemon, but
Yeah.
it kind of heightens it a little bit. So
Sure.
I can get it going here. Maybe let's see here. Hope it works in terms of seeing it. All right. Throw a little ice in the glass. This is a fun show here. I'd be doing this with or without the show, just so everybody.
I know. Me too. That's why there's a bar
Yeah, we
behind
are
me.
taping at 4:03. That is when I get the green light here.
I know you
Yeah,
don't
so
need to
let's
wait for 5 o'clock. You're there.
let's see here. I don't know if my background thing's gonna kill it here, but is that doing anything?
If you put it right in front of you, there it goes. It
All
shows
right.
up.
So you see that like beautiful blue color?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's kind of just a straight, nice gin, good tasting gin. Like if you love Hendrix or something like that, you'll love this.
Yeah.
Then you get this like really pretty overall
Yeah,
cocktail here.
yeah, and
That
there it is.
yeah, I'll give it a little stir, and here you go.
Yeah. I
Yeah, it
love
was
that.
like
That is a fun one. I have to,
it's
I'll get a link
super.
for
I
you
mean,
for the name and I'll
yeah,
include it on the show notes here.
perfect. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Laker fan, when you're kicking back watching a game with
Right.
a purple cocktail, um,
Uh-huh.
it feels really great, and it's summertime, wintertime, whatever. But something
Right.
about drinking a gin
Yeah.
and tonic that's purple, it
Yeah.
feels way more festive than your normal gin and tonic. So
There you go. Well, you could do like a lemon twist on there and get
yep,
it purple and gold.
you could.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
not
know I
quite
have a
gold, but
lime here,
yellow,
but it
but you're there.
quite didn't work. I have the lime, but
Yeah.
I didn't bring a knife, and I'm not that strong. So
Yeah.
I was like,
There you go. We're good. And I'm
yeah,
actually going to do it somewhat easy today, but I've been
oh
wanting to
nice.
share this. So it's Writer's Tears.
I see
Um,
this all the time. I've never tried
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. It's an Irish whiskey. And I think it says it on here. I think they age it in American oak cask. Um, but it is really smooth. It came with, if this will show up, maybe I can get it in the black of my shirt. Actually, it has a little tear on it. So it was a
Yep,
gift
I
set
see it.
that someone gave me one of these days. And I'm just going to be sipping on this. One of the things I would suggest for the audience, those big ice cubes are very popular, and I have lots of them.
Yes,
I love an old fashioned. The episode with me and
same.
Tim TD
Yeah,
Johnson for the audience, I was drinking old fashions, and I love those big cubes, and
yes,
I will be there all night long. Um, but when you're drinking it straight, sometimes those it's too much, right? It starts to
yeah,
melt and
yeah.
overpowers it. So actually, what I like to do is just grab your little refrigerator ice, and just literally a little refrigerator ice, and just pop one of those in there, and then that'll get it to open up the whiskey, get those like flavors moving, get a little water
Mm,
in there. Even if it melts, it doesn't suddenly water it down
I like that
where
idea.
you don't taste it anymore. So I'm going to be sipping on that today because I've expended my cocktail recipes for the first
Sure.
7 episodes, and now
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to
I
go
hear
to
you.
bartending school just to
Yeah,
keep the show going.
I know. I know. I was asking my
Awesome.
wife, I'm like, is it lame that I'm making a gin and tonic? The gin is purple. And she's like, kind of lame. I'm like, really? I think it's kind of fun. I just do it.
That's wise for you. They're always
Yeah.
like that there,
Yeah. She's like, why don't you do an eggnog thing? And I was like, because then we have eggnog in the fridge and I'm not going to finish that.
Right. Oh, there you
You're
go.
not,
I know it's
yeah,
a
and the
good one.
lactose intolerant person's not going to finish it. So
Awesome. So for our audience, where in the world are you?
I am in Palos Verdes Estates right now. About, let's see, 30 minutes south of LA Airport along the coast.
Beautiful.
Yeah, probably
Um,
about a half mile from the beach. I can see it from certain points around here, but not a clear shot from our place, unfortunately. But yeah,
right. Yeah. Palos Verdes is beautiful. So
it is
you've
a beautiful kind of like, yeah, the natural topography and geography of the whole area is really amazing. I was lucky enough to grow up here, so I'm only 2 miles from the house I grew up in right now. So
very cool.
my
That
parents
is
are
neat.
there. Yeah, we're like, I walk to their house every now and then, and kind of nice to have
Right.
them here.
Right. Yeah. There you go. That's beautiful. So, I mean, I've said this in other episodes, so I don't want to belabor the point, but
Sure.
people outside of Los Angeles use the term Los Angeles to describe about like 100 miles of territory.
It's true. It's a state, right?
It
It's
is.
not a city. It's a
It's
state.
a state, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing about kind of Los Angeles, the greater Los Angeles areas? Some people like to say, what's
Yeah.
something that's like not commonly known? Like, what's kind of a misconception that you found?
Mm. Oh, this is interesting because I think the native LA, like when people talk about LA and the people here, they're almost always talking about the transplants. I've just figured when people like bash LA and talk about LA and
Mm-hmm.
oh, this guy and this broy guy, the broy guy is
Right,
not from here. The
right,
broy guy's from Chicago and has like adapted this Saved by the Bell persona that we don't believe in, you know?
right, right.
Yeah, so you're at a bar and you're like, I can guarantee that guy's not like that guy's from Michigan,
Right.
Came
Right.
out here when he was 22. He went to, I don't know what, he went to grad
Mm-hmm.
school at UCLA or something, and he became whatever. And now he's
Right.
wearing flip-flops in December. That's not us. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
just, doing our life. We're wearing jeans, we're wearing a hoodie, we're taking
Right.
it easy. Yeah. So it is, I always kind of look at the native LA people because they're few and far between, I feel like.
Sure.
Um, and kind of how we navigate, like people who use all the acronyms like WeHo and stuff. I'm like, that's not us,
Right. Right.
You guys
Yeah.
came up with calling it DTLA. Nobody says DTLA. They say downtown, right? Like,
Right. Exactly.
yeah, I'm not going to downtown Detroit. If I say I'm going downtown, I mean today, and I mean the only downtown around here. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. There's no other downtown. You
no,
don't say I'm going to downtown Pasadena, right? You're
no. You say
going
I'm
to
going to
Pasadena.
Pasadena. Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know what someone said. Sometimes I think they're coming up like Norho is a thing now.
Oh, I heard
North
of
Hollywood.
Norho. Yeah.
I'm
North
like, that's not
Hollywood.
like
Yeah.
that's not even if I'm from North Hollywood, I'm insulted,
Yeah.
Norho. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Let
You
me
don't
be
want ho in
Hollywood.
your acronym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you don't want ho in there. And nor, it sounds horrible.
Right. That's funny. And you can really sense that. And we'll get more into your writing, but just a little
Sure.
bit, you really sense that in Los Angeles. Because
Oh,
one of the
thank you.
things I really cherished about that book was that that's the LA I know. Right.
Oh,
We
good.
moved
That
out
makes me
to
feel good.
yeah, we moved out to Simi Valley when I was 5.
Yeah,
And then we're out in these are the furthermost point of LA
sure.
County, Palmdale, the high desert.
Yeah,
Our claim to fame is Paul George came
that's right.
from Palmdale.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that. Yeah.
And who's the guy who sang "But Then I Got High"?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he
Forgot
came.
his name. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he came from out there too. So we got 2 claims of fame.
Cool.
And then now I'm in the same game. I'm actually very close to Pasadena now.
Yeah, I remember hearing
Just
that. That's right.
yeah, just down the road. But and so when it was working class people, just normal people, right? And sometimes maybe you go do a play or something, but if everyone that lives here their whole life aren't the ones that all have a screenplay. It's
Mm-hmm.
everyone that moves here has a screenplay.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So
guy that's at the Starbucks taking up 3 tables with notes and like a storyboard. That guy, I guarantee, like ask that guy where he's born and raised. It wasn't here,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's something that what's a pet peeve? Like there's
Oh
just
man.
that
How
pisses you
long do
off
we
that
have?
shouldn't.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this stuff. So recently I've been doing a lot of traveling. We were in South Carolina together in November, and then I was with my wife and my family. We flew out to Boston to spend some time with her folks. And I think like one of them that's just getting me to the point where I'm enraged are reasonable people who are bringing like coffins and hockey bags onto a plane as a carry-on, and then
Right.
acting bewildered that they can't
Mhm.
fit it into a hole like, of this dimension,
Right. Yeah.
just slamming it, and they've got 74 people behind. And
Right.
I like that is one of my things. And then we have to wait for this person to like bring it out with the jaws of life and 5 flight attendants to be like, sir, you cannot fit your house into this little
Right,
tiny thing.
exactly. That's an
Yeah.
IKEA dresser, sir. That's not meant to be luggage.
Yes. Yeah. Why did you pack everything you own? A golf bag, a surfboard. This is getting crazy. But
Yeah.
that one is driving me crazy because I feel like that's all we do now is we just wait to board a plane and it takes four
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Because it used to be
Or
like, yeah,
you know what? That's funny. It reminds me every time I fly, this always annoys me is that the people that are behind you, that
yes.
when everyone's waiting to board and they're taking their bags down, and then they try to race up like they're going somewhere.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I was like, just dude, just
Yes.
chill. Like we're gonna go like a row at a time. That's like
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
not making it anywhere. This is
No.
this
But
is
then that's
LA
like because
traffic
in
jam.
row 12, there's a guy who works on cats who's decided to bring all the costumes and shove them in the bins. So
And maybe break
also,
out into song. You never know.
oh God, yeah. I think my other thing is that everything's becoming an app.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
absolutely everything. I went to buy a blender and it came with an app, and I was like, oh, I don't need this. Like, I don't want.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't. When they're like, just download the app, and I'm like, I don't have it anymore. That's it. You get 5 apps on the phone,
Right.
and there's no more
Right.
apps. That's it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can't make a product without an app, I don't know. Yeah,
Right. It needs to be like the Rings of Power. There needs to be one app to rule them all. Like it's
it's
like
true.
just
Yeah,
sign up for that app. I'll get that, and then maybe I can
it's
work
too
my
much
blender.
because your phone is just a graveyard of tiles. You're scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
where's that one thing, the Boingo hotspot I used
Yep.
7 years ago that I have the app for? I don't. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Totally nuts.
Yep. It is. So what is this wasn't on the agenda, but I have some random questions
Sure.
I like to
Yeah.
ask people. What's an irrational fear?
Mm, I have a lot of them. So recently, I would say in my mid 30s, I just developed claustrophobia out of nowhere. And
Really?
that's fun for everyone. Yeah.
That makes the plane even worse, as
Oh, it
everyone.
does. Yeah. So I have a
Yeah.
fear of flying. I gotta sit on the aisle. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm like feeling like I can't get out, there's a lot of like control stuff. So I
Sure.
need to know I can step into the aisle. For some reason, that gives me a lot of freedom, thank God. Um, but yeah, it's a weird thing. It started just like one day I got in the back seat of my friend's car, and it was a two-door car. So he had to like put this front seat, like bring it down, and I got in the back and I realized
Right.
like, oh, I can't get out. My feet were kind of like pegged under his seat. The window obviously doesn't go down. There's no door, and I got crazy. Like
Yeah.
claustrophobia is weird because you go from being a totally normal person to a psychotic animal in like 7 seconds.
Right.
Like all of a sudden you're just shaking the seat in front of you and you're screaming, I gotta get out, I gotta drive. Like people are like, what's going on? Is he having? They think you did mushrooms or something. They don't know what's happening.
Sure.
So now I can sense it. I know like cars get me going. Um, like I even at the dentist for some reason when they're like over my head and they have seven
Sure.
tools in my mouth and there's just a cotton ball in there. My dentist makes me wear like Back to the Future goggles. I
Right.
don't know. Yeah, that started. So I feel very like overwhelmed with apparatus in the face.
Sure.
Um, yeah, and that is a new thing I'm trying to navigate. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
fun. It's really been great. Yeah,
Yeah. It sounds
a
fun,
really
man.
dark bedroom. Like when we were in South Carolina, for some reason, the hotel room they gave me was like pitch black at night. There was no
Yeah.
like outdoor lighting that was coming through or anything. So I had to
Uh-huh.
leave on like the bathroom light and the door open, like I was 4 years
Sure.
old. Yeah, so
Or you just start bringing a little nightlight with you
yeah,
everywhere
I
and
need to read my
problem
own book
solved.
before bed.
I know, really.
I
That's
know. I'm
funny.
like, this
You
is
know what?
crazy.
My irrational fear, it's so ridiculous, but I don't even know when this started. But
Yeah.
frogs. Like I cannot like I don't know if it's that like I feel like it's like choose land or sea, like you don't like not
Yes.
both. Like maybe that
Yes.
creeps me out. But I'll see a frog. And I remember my first job was at a pizza place. Right. And
Wow.
so I started like making the pies and at some point I'm
That's cool.
delivering. And I remember one day I'm walking up to a house to deliver a pizza and I thought it was a statue of a frog. And then the frog croaked and moved. And
Oh,
like I
wow.
wouldn't go to the house. And this is pre like everyone having a cell phone. Like I just
Yeah.
took the pizza back. I'm
Oh, wow.
not going. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, that's intense.
And mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. There's a frog by the door." They're like, "Beep the horn or something." I'm like, "I just got out of there. I had to save my life here from
The
this."
frog probably felt great about it, though. He's like, I just intimidated a full grown man.
Exactly. He's
Like that
telling
little
all his
kid,
frog
he
buddies,
just got out of here. He
right?
didn't even
And ever
drop off
since,
the pizza.
yeah, and ever since all those frogs have just been mocking me, like, guy's like 6'2", and I'm just running out of here.
How about toads?
All of them, just
Okay, yeah,
like
because
that.
toads are kind of scary because they're like nine frogs in one.
Yeah, right.
Like the
And
size of
we
some of the toads become, because they're kind of frightening because they're like the size of a
sure,
chihuahua.
yeah, yeah. And my wife and I think we are dating at this point. Might have been early on when we were married, but her brother, my brother-in-law, had a toad like in like the aquarium, and
Yeah.
it was one of those like it looked like Jabba the Hutt sitting there. And it's like, oh, you want to watch me feed him? And I'm like, oh, not really. And he drops the little mouse in, and then that thing moved like impossibly fast. Like it looked like
Oh,
Jabba
no.
suddenly like just sprinting across, clasped down on this little mouse, and you see the little tail, and then just
Oh
goes stiff.
God,
It suffocates it, and then
that
swallows it
is
whole. And I'm
crazy.
like, this creature should not exist. This is sci-fi. Like,
Yeah, it is. They are kind of prehistoric.
yeah, they really are.
They
Maybe
do like
that's what it is. Maybe the
yeah,
prehistoric nature
like the
gets me.
alligator. When we were in South Carolina at that, what was it, Data Island? That was
Yeah.
like a freaky place to wait for. I had to wait for an Uber one day,
Right.
and I just like was sitting in the middle of the street, and I saw just one come out and like try to eat a bird, and I was like,
Oh wow.
wow, yeah. It was just like a big heron just sitting there. All of a sudden, he just comes out and gets like a little
Yeah.
sun. And I was like,
Right.
wow, that's
Yeah.
frightening. People just live here and they just walk around. Like I think I would start wearing armor, to walk the dog.
Right. I know, really.
Dog would have armor. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So um so I like some pop culture question
Yeah,
related to things. So I think today what I'd like to ask you is I think it would be interesting, especially with you being in the LA area, since like all of
yeah,
these, and I know we talked a little, I think it was before the show about like not watching tons of it. I have young kids, so I watch some of it. But what do you think
yeah.
in general, kind of the preoccupation with superheroes and like just
Yeah. It,
superhumans in general? Like, what does it
yeah.
say about us?
We are in desperate need of someone to look up to, I feel like, right? This is it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I personally, and this isn't like some sort of like, oh, I'm a pretentious guy, but like we were saying, I'm still watching sports. I'm still catching up on Seinfeld. I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching Price is Right. I'm basically watching TV from 1991. So
Right. Yeah.
the last like superhero movie that I sat down and watched was the Michael Keaton Batman. To give it some
Really?
perspective,
That
yeah,
one?
I think that
Uh-huh.
was Jack Nicholson in that one
I think it was.
playing
I think it was Jack
playing
Nicholson.
Penguin, or yeah, was he playing?
Was he
No, Danny
Penguin or was
DeVito
he
was Penguin.
Joker?
He was
I think
Joker.
Nicholson was Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't even remember anything.
Yeah.
I was like five.
Right.
So there you go. I mean, I think it's funny more than anything else. I think it's just funny that we make like nine sequels of the same movie too.
Right. And well, and it's not even sequels anymore, right? You do
Yeah.
nine sequels, and then you have to do nine prequels.
Yes,
Is
that's true.
you
You
just
could
have to milk
essentially
it.
we could just make one movie for the rest of time. Like let's just
Right.
devote all resources to just making Iron Man. That's it. That's the that's the movie we're getting. Just get on
Exactly.
board.
Yeah, because everything has to be a cinematic universe, right? Quote unquote, like
Yes.
Harry Potter cinematic universe. Like I thought it
Yeah.
was just some books, but now it's a cinematic universe. And
Yeah. And now I feel so intimidated to like I work with a lot of students. And when you say to a 17-year-old boy that you've never seen a superhero film besides Michael Keaton's Batman, you might as well just like slap their father. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
It's like like I might as well just have pulled out a musket
You
or
just made
something.
a yo mama joke,
Totally.
basically. It's like,
They
what?
don't even know. They're like, where are you from? Are you okay? Should we bring you
Mm-hmm.
somewhere? So I feel like I'm too far gone too. Like at this point, I would have to
Okay.
quit my job. I would have to stop writing. I would just have to watch movies for like
You
2 years.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's like
I don't even
3,000
know who
hours of
some of these
movies.
people are. I feel like they're making up. Like I remember watching TV one day and I'm going through the channels and I see Ant-Man. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah, there's
that's not a
Ant-Man.
real guy. That's not a real
Yeah.
guy. They just made up someone. And then my friend's like, no, Ant-Man's a person. And I'm like, like how many are there? There's like Trash Can Boy. Like, can we
Right.
just keep
Well,
doing
there's
these?
Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is
Of
a real
course
one.
there
And
is. Yeah.
that's brilliant. If there's an animal, you just add man or woman after
Yeah.
it, and then
Squirrel Girl. That sounds like a movie
Supergirl.
I'm not gonna watch.
That's right. We didn't watch. So I didn't watch movies for the longest time. I actually realized we went to watch Avatar 2.
Okay.
Um, I
Just
never
out
watched
now, right?
Avatar 1.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I think
yeah,
I
I
did
never
watch
watched
that one.
first. Yeah, I there's like a 15, 20 year gap where I watched
Yeah.
no movies, like no new movies. And then my son, when he was like 3, 4, got
Yeah.
really into like Spider-Man. And he'd
Okay.
be really good. You could take him to the movies. And if it was the first time watching it, if you ever tried to have him watch something twice, then he was around the theater. But he would
Yeah.
sit, watch it, be really happy, like get up, talk to you about it, like really
That's awesome.
jazzed.
At 3 years old,
Yeah. And so we ended
that's
up
awesome.
watching them, and we watch them to
That's
this
great.
day, and it's painful. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's gotten pretty painful at this point. Avatar 2, I was like, it was like 3.5 hours long. At one point I left the
That's the other
theater.
thing. Movies are way too long now.
Yeah.
Like we
Right.
gotta go. I don't know why we got it's like there's some sort of thing where like length is equating now to a great film.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
like, we
And
could
it's
have
like
done this in hour and 40. But if we add a bunch of ridiculous scenes that don't do anything, it goes to 255. It's a
Right.
cinematic masterpiece. And you're like, no, you can cut
Mm-hmm.
that scene where you make the smoothie, like
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
you could.
I don't need to see Morgan Freeman chopping up food. Like
Yeah, yeah, you could. All of them need an editor like desperately.
oh my God.
It's like they're thinking like every great novel's been 4,000 words. It's like, not really. There's a lot.
No, no. I don't
Great
know what happened.
Gatsby is a nice, short, like
It's a nice short
concise,
read.
beautiful novel. Like
It is.
it, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Ulysses to be great.
There
Like we
was
can.
one movie I watched. It was Thanksgiving. It had just what was it called? The Irishman. Have you seen the Scorsese film?
I haven't seen it. I know what you're talking about
Oh,
though.
just watch out. Like I fell asleep during it. I had a great sleep. Like felt like I don't know, a tranquilizer dart sleep. I
Right.
awakened to see it was still on, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by the same people. The sun had gone down. Everyone on the couch was like
Right. The
everyone. I
seasons
was
had
like,
changed. Like
yeah, I
people are
was like,
reaping the
do
crops
I
now.
have to vote? Like, should I get my driver's license renewed? What year is it? I didn't know what
Yeah.
happened. And I was like, this is, and then someone told me it was 3 hours and 20 minutes or something insane.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have time. That's three movies. Like, that's where I come
Right.
from. It's three movies. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's you could have. Yeah. I mean, imagine what you can do with your life, right? Where I'm like, well, I don't have enough time. And it's like you just have to stop watching the 3 hour movie,
Yeah.
and you just opened up a huge block here.
Yeah. I know. I do like that. I don't have enough time. Yeah. I'm going to throw in both avatars tonight. And then we
Right.
get started on Infinite Jest. You're like, yeah, well, I think we got you some time back.
Right. Exactly. So, what's a trip that changed your life?
Oh, I went to Tokyo when I was in high school and saw various sites in Japan. And I really have been wanting to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a very cool cultural shift, not being able to read anything on signs or
Sure.
understand even like men and women in the bathroom. Everything was just a very big culture shift. And I liked that feeling of being
Right.
like totally foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew I was a tourist, and that was okay. It felt kind of nice
Sure.
to learn about the culture, see the food. I went to a sumo match. I did some really interesting things, saw how, the temples were and breakfast and traditional tea ceremonies. I really would like to go back. I'm going to go on a honeymoon with my wife here soon, and we're like throwing out little ideas. And I keep thinking Japan might be a really cool spot.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. We were supposed to go to Japan, and then COVID hit.
Oh, right around
And
that
so
time.
we had the plans already. We were so my the easiest way to get it. Wife's cousin's wife is
Okay,
Japanese and has family there, so we're going to go with
cool.
them, and she speaks it. So we would have been tourists, but then also got into
That's
I
kind of what I did. Yeah, I went with
yeah
like someone who really knew their stuff. Yeah.
yeah yeah, and that's why I love asking people on the show like, what's the thing to do around your area? What's this? Because it's like, oh,
Yeah,
because I want to know what all the locals are doing. Like, what
me
do
too.
real people do?
You're
Sometimes the
right.
tourist stuff can be fun, but usually the touristy stuff is just a money grab, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And the locals are all doing something else, which is far better. And you want to know like
Yes.
what coffee shop are they going to? Like where are they
Totally.
eating? That's the good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember going to some really cool bars in Tokyo that were quiet and people listened to jazz and it was like
Mm-hmm.
dimly lit. And then the sumo match was super authentic. It was
Yeah.
not in Tokyo. It was in like a different town, different city. And it was small and everyone threw rice granules onto I don't know like the arena, the platform, and it was kind of like I talked to someone after, they're like, oh yeah, the sumo wrestlers are like gods in Japan. They are like
Yeah.
a very esteemed figure. Yeah. So you're
Sure.
offering things, food was served, incredible food. It was just awesome to be in the presence of that kind of thing and feel so the world became very large. I was 16 years old. I had been
Sure.
to Europe, I had been to Mexico, I had done some stuff, but I don't know. I grew up speaking French. My name is crazy in French. And so when I go to France, it just feels like it's like another version of me. I'm staying with
Sure.
family, doing that kind of thing. So being completely out of my element was really fascinating.
Right. Yeah. It is, isn't it? I actually really love that. Like I
Yeah,
was
absolutely. Yeah.
joking with someone at one point is that like I'm a huge mutt, right? Like my dad's side's kind of easy. My dad's half Italian, half UK, basically. Like they would say
Okay,
Irish, but my grandfather told me one time, he's like, "Oh, we're everything. We're Wales, we're Scottish. Like it's just that island, or
sure,
those that the British Isles."
sure,
Um,
sure.
my mom's side is complete hodgepodge, and then you add them, and I'm hodgepodge. And my dad was in the Air Force, so
Okay.
I was born in West Virginia, born in Morgantown because he went
Oh,
to
cool.
WVU,
Okay,
and
nice.
he was actually the house was with my grandparents outside of Pittsburgh. So that's why I'm the
Okay,
Steeler fan comes. It's
that makes
hereditary,
sense.
right? Like we
Yeah,
we pass it down. Like my kids know, like you like the Steelers, or like
that's
don't
awesome.
expect something in the will.
Yeah, I get it.
And yeah,
That's the same with me and the Lakers, you know?
right, yeah. And there's no Pittsburgh basketball team,
No,
so
my wife is
nothing.
from Boston, so she grew up like her parents love the Celtics, and
Right.
she has like a Larry Bird shirt, and it really like
Um,
when she wears it to bed, I'm like,
yeah,
this is how
Romeo
you're
and
gonna be
Juliet,
changed. But I've like bought her Laker gear. I've just like brainwashed her, you know?
as you should, as you should.
Constantly on, the gear comes, I kind of hide the shirt when it's in the washer, I throw it behind the dryer or something. You know, it's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, as you should. And they're
Yeah.
modern championships when you count the modern ones. Way
Thank you.
more, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, the Celtics were winning in 221 BC. You know, it's like, yeah,
Right,
there were four teams. Like, come on.
right. It's like them and Babe Ruth were the top of the
I
world.
know.
It is
Yeah.
a different world now. So let's like transition over to your writing then.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, I know you said you're going to read from the it was the poetry book, I
Yeah.
believe, if you said so. If you want
Yeah.
to
I got
take some time
one
here,
kind
and
of longer poem. We were
beautiful.
talking about pet peeves and irritations, and another one, because I could do that all day. I could do an entire show on just irritation. It seems like the list is it's just ever growing. Leaving the
Right.
house, I find nine things that have irritated me by the time I get to the car.
Mm.
But one of them
Have
are
you,
past.
not to digress too much, have you watched
Yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Oh yeah. Now I feel
Okay.
very much like a kindred soul with Larry David. You know.
That's what made me think of it. I was like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
there's
like
one
the
show if you
wobbly
haven't
table
watched.
and stuff. Like I
Yep.
have had those exact moments. And my wife
Right.
is super peaceful. Like nothing
Hmm.
bothers her. It's pretty, and we like are just I feel like because nothing bothers her, I'm like more of a maniac, you know? Like we could fly on
Maybe
a
that's
plane with
what.
one wing, you know, and I'm like,
Right.
Christine, there's no wing. Like, look, there's no wing. She'll be like, it's okay, it's working okay. We're flying sideways, but we're doing good. And you're just like, okay, yeah, I guess, you know?
That's beautiful. That's funny. Like you and your wife are kind of the opposite of me and mine, because she's the one
Okay.
that'll be upset. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, I think you
We're
have to have that though. We've talked
yeah,
about it. I think
yeah.
you gotta have like the crazy person and the sane one.
Yeah.
You kind of balance each other out. Like the crazy one brings the sane person out of something they're not thinking is crazy. And then the
Right.
same person
But
calms the crazy one down a little bit, you know?
yeah, exactly. But just so we're clear, honey, if
Yes.
you ever watch this, you're the
Yeah.
sane one.
You
Not
think
I'm
so?
clearly the crazy one. I'm the crazy one. I public service announcement. She's looking at me over there anyways.
Oh yeah. No, that's good.
Sane
That's
one.
good.
Love you.
Yeah,
But
it's
awesome.
intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have like a volcano in the relationship and then maybe like a nice placid stream, I feel like.
No, I'm like Lake Placid, and like the thoughts and like demeanor and like how much
It's
I
great
move in
though.
the day.
No,
So.
no, I like admire people like this, you know?
Mhm.
Because I'm like, oh my God, did you see the grocery bag? Why they stuff it with 49 items? Or, now they keep saying, do you want a bag? And it's like, no, I'm a professional juggler. Why don't you toss the watermelon up there? I'll get started.
Right. Yeah,
It's almost
exactly.